The following opinions are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTest.com, and today I'm on a new boat from Regal, the 42 FXO. Now, we've seen the 42 fly, which this is very similar to, but the one big difference between that boat and this is that this one is outboard powered. I'm going to put it through a full performance evaluation and features inspection. Now, to be clear, Regal did not just take the same hull and slap on outboards. It doesn't work that way. The most significant change to this hull configuration is you can see that it extends now past the transom and underneath the swim platform. That gives us more buoyancy aft and less bow rise when we come up on plane. Now let's look at the outboards themselves. XTO Offshore Series 425 horsepower times 3 and also with joystick capability.
These engines brought us to a top speed of 49.3 miles per hour and produced a best economic cruise of 34.2 at 4,500 RPM. It also gave the 42 FXO sport boat-like handling.
Now, I really like the way that Regal took on mounting these outboards to this platform. We still have usability to the swim platforms. In fact, there's 3-foot extensions to both sides. To the port hand side, there's a reboarding ladder, and we even have an 18-inch deep service platform going all the way across. Another notable aspect about how these are mounted, they're spaced far enough apart so that all 3 engines can move independently of each other when we're working on the joystick. Let's keep going with our operational aspects. Just ahead on the transom to the starboard side, 50 amp shore power cord on an electric reel, television antenna, city water inlet, the freshwater shower, and just above we've got the fills for gas and diesel because we've got a diesel generator on board. Now just ahead, we not only have storage underneath this hatch, but because this is now outboard powered, we have lazarette storage that takes up this whole area. Take a look. It's on an electrically actuated lift. The switch is just inside in the cockpit. Now inside this compartment, plenty of open space, 42-inch overhead clearance, and of course the compartment runs full beam. Way over to the port hand side, I've got the fuel filters, battery boxes, diesel generator, plenty of storage ahead of me going across, and there's a ladder right next to me leading to a hatch that gets us into the cockpit deck. There's more storage over to starboard, and then all the way over to starboard is the cord reel for the shore power. Now here's a thoughtful consideration on Regal's part. You're able to board from a dock at 3 different levels, from a floating pier right at the swim platform, or from a fixed pier at high tide right here and low tide right here. Now both side decks are symmetrical on this boat. They start at 16 inches wide, 21-inch high rails, and there's 1, 2, 10-inch midship cleats. I like that there's a full-length rail on the side of the cabin house. Now as I move forward, the deck level inclines slightly, so there are no steps in the side deck. We also get a little bit more room here, 18 inches at this point, 24-inch high rails. The foredeck is down a 5-inch step. There are foot controls for the windlass at the bow, and of course there are controls at each of the helm stations. We've got a Lewmar windlass with a chain rode leading to a through-the-stem anchor 10-inch cleat for securing the rode. To both sides, we've got access to the rode locker. This side has a washdown pump, the emergency handle, and the battery switch for the windlass. And over on this side, hangers for the lines and storage for the fenders. Now at the bow there's a sun pad on top of the trunk cabin, 81 inches by 63 inches, and we can elevate the forward section in 3 different positions and this aft section in 2 different positions. So very versatile. One thing I'm not seeing here is controllability for the stereo, but Regal thought of that and they provide 2 Bluetooth controllers. You can use those anywhere around the boat, and of course you're free to buy more if you want. Additionally, we can bring up a cabana shade, and I noticed there are drink holders to both sides. Now the flying bridge is accessed from stairs to the port side of the cockpit. There's so much space up here and it takes up almost half of the length of the boat. Starts with L-shaped seating over to the starboard side. Naturally there's storage underneath the seats, and true to Regal form, look at the nice embroidery work, and I'm also feeling there are different levels of thickness to the padding underneath, so it's much more comfortable.
Just ahead, there's a Corian countertop with a refrigerator underneath.
And then 2 forward-facing seats and a small sun pad just up forward. Now there's also versatility here as well. We can put a pedestal table in the L-shaped seating, and this seat not only slides all the way forward, but it also reclines into 1, 2 different positions. The Flybridge helm seat, not so much double width, but certainly seat and a half width at 36 inches, and it includes a flip-up bolster. Naturally, it slides fore and aft. The helm is starboard mounted. There's an upper panel embracing the glass dash concept. In this case, we have two 16-inch displays. Standard is one 22-inch display. Over to the right, the digital throttle and shift, trim tabs, our bow thruster control, and the joystick controlling all three engines. Beverage holder just behind.
The cockpit is another spacious gathering area. Let's take a look.
L-shaped seating across the stern and the starboard side. There's a stereo remote control just ahead of the seating. Storage under the seats, of course. There's a Corian counter with an electric grill underneath. There's a grab handle and refrigerator underneath that. There's a base for a pedestal table, and notice that if I remove these seats, underneath, your battery switches, and then if I just step up, remove this, now I've got easy access to the starboard side gate, and there's another thoughtful grab handle easing the transition. And all this is under the protection of the extended flying bridge deck, 6 feet 5 inches off the main deck. Now as we transition inside, we have glass doors that can open either as a single, a double wide, or even triple. Now this gives us an opening 5 feet 11 inches, but because we have the counters, it's more like 4 feet 11 inches. And this gives us a seamless transition between the inside and the outside. And all of the windows have individual blinds. Now to the starboard side, there's a galley, and a lot of thoughtful considerations went into this. First of all, there's Corian counter, and we can remove two sections to expose not only the sink, but the double burner electric stove. There's another section that's hinged to expose the trash receptacle, but more importantly, these covers have dedicated storage right alongside, and notice how it makes a little bit of an L, so we're moved in from the main companionway. That way we can still be at the galley cooking while people are at the settee just across, and we still have a transition space alongside. Below, convection microwave oven, refrigerator, freezer, and plenty of storage all around. Now, just above, a very fast-moving 32-inch TV. Now that TV faces, of course, the settee directly across. Notice that this is on a 9-inch elevated platform. There's a large table. How large, you ask? Why, it's 55 inches by 22 inches. Solid table, and it's on a fixed pedestal. What I'm most impressed with, however, is the visibility from this salon. The windows don't start up excessively high, but they do come down very low, so I've got clear sight lines all the way to the horizon from the seated position. That's an important factor when you have guests on board that may not be so inclined to being on board a boat. The lower helm is standard on this boat. Panel consists of two 16s, one 22-inch is standard. It's a soft touch brow just above. There's a cubby just underneath, beverage holder, electrical switches over on the left-hand side, including one for the helm seat so it can slide fore and aft electrically. The steering wheel is mounted to a tilt base, Garmin VHF, and then the Yamaha display just below that. I'd like to see these two reversed so that the Yamaha display is a little bit higher up and more in the sight line. Just to the right, Lewmar bow thruster control, and I'd like to see a larger bow thruster on this boat. Just behind, digital throttle and shift with its host of options. Joystick just behind, trim tabs, and I really like this opening side window. Now as we transition below, first of all of this area has been opened up, so beautifully well-lit atrium as we make our way down. Let's take a look. Now notice the stair treads, again made in-house with non-skid. There's storage underneath each one, and if I pull them forward, this provides us easy access to the standard Seakeeper gyro. Notice that not only is there a sound deadening mat on top of the Seakeeper itself, but under the stairs. Now just over on the port hand side, a refreshment center with plenty of storage, window, sink, Corian counter, more storage below, and a refrigerator. This is great for those of us that like the late night snacks. Now all of this area can be closed off to make another head, a wet head as a matter of fact. The one head we have standard is over on the other side. We'll get to that in just a minute. First of all, let's talk about this forward stateroom. It's got an island berth accessible to both sides. 6 feet 3 inches of overhead clearance gives us 3 feet 7 inches above the berth. There are fixed windows to both sides, storage along the sides, and there are glass panels just alongside the bed that lift up to reveal even more storage. Lights are just above, and there's an opening hatch that has a blackout shade, a screen, and of course it opens for natural light. There's a hanging locker to one side, TV over on the port hand side, more storage underneath the berth, and then we've got private access to the head. Now this head includes Corian counters, large window providing natural light, mirrored cabinets just above, and there's another cabinet below, vessel sink, and nice to see that there's a separate walk-in shower. This also has a separate entrance right here so that it can serve double duty as a day head when we don't get the head option over to the port hand side. Now all of this can be closed off with pocket doors, giving us privacy, and it also gives us our private entrance to the ensuite. This being the secondary entrance. So if this has its private ensuite, is this the master or this aft cabin? How about you take a look and you tell me. Now this stateroom has a sofa in front of it, 66 inches, great comfort, 32-inch TV on the bulkhead right alongside. It's got a berth 78 inches by 78 inches, and it can be split into 2 single berths, so great versatility here. Lengthy windows to both sides, and of course they have pull-down shades. Lights to both ends of each set of windows. Headroom, right here at the entrance, it starts at, well, 4 feet 7 inches, and that leaves us over the berth where it drops down right here, 2 feet 6 inches. There's both a hanging locker and the center headboard pulls open, so there's storage in there as well. And of course, this cabin can be closed off with another privacy door. Now, right alongside the stairs, we have the ship's main electrical panels, 12 volt to one side, 120 volt to the other. So it seems to me we've got a lot of comfort going on in this boat, thoughtful features throughout, the handling that we've come to expect from the brand, and now power of choice. And it's all thanks to the 42 FXO from Regal. And that's my full features inspection and performance evaluation. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.